Welcome back to the Hoodnies. It's your boy BBTB, aka Bench 550, aka Do What It Does What It Do, aka your league winner. Got the boy Chemo right here.
Yep.
And MFB. We was gonna kick that homie off, but he's back with us, you know what I'm saying? So, but on this episode, we're gonna be doing start and sits for week 2, and we got a bonus segment at the end. So we're just gonna jump right to it. We're gonna go into the Thursday night football game, Bills Dolphins. Starting. We're starting Jeff Wilson here.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Achane plays, I think Jeff Wilson still is flex worthy, just because I don't trust Achane's body. I think it's just going to fall apart. I mentioned that in the draft episodes about touching Achane. He's made of glass. So already Mostert's been ruled out. So if Achane doesn't suit up, 100% you start Jeff Wilson. And remember, guys, your Thursday night players, put them in their positions. If they're a running back, you start them in the running back position. Even though they're your flex, start them in that position, and you can flex whoever you want later.
Exactly.
Just in case, like for injuries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And then we got sitting Tua Tagovailoa. What you thinking about that one, MFB?
I think it's not bad. I mean, Bills D, I understand it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then on top of that, I feel like divisional games are always like close and high scoring. If they're good offenses, right? Which we have 2 very good offenses. So if I needed to start Tua, I would start Tua. Just because of the divisional matchup here.
Gotcha.
Cool. Yeah, a lot of question marks around Kincaid. MFB, you got some thoughts on that?
I think my grade of the week for Kincaid is like an A- start. I mean, bro, if you watched last week, he wasn't just getting triple teamed, bro. There was plays he got quadruple teamed.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Right? It's hella funny to watch.
Hey man, the Cardinals, bro.
I guess, right? So they were scared, but and I think he bounces back for sure. Now I'll give it to Miami. They locked down Evan Ingram last week, but historically Miami's not good against covering tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time Kincaid played Miami, he had like 7 catches, I think 80 something yards. So it was a decent outing for Kincaid. So I definitely got him bouncing back.
Cool. Yeah, the rest of the guys there, I mean, obviously you start Josh Allen, you obviously start Tyreek and Waddle. But some question marks on the receivers in Buffalo. Do you start any of those guys with confidence or not really?
No, not with confidence.
You can maybe
not
flex
too much confidence,
Keon Coleman,
but as a flex, I think Keon Coleman, maybe Khalil Shakir in deeper leagues is all right. Curtis Samuel, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. All right, let's move on to the next game, 49ers and Vikings. Not much here. I think you basically start all the guys that you drafted. I mean, you're starting Debo, you're starting Ayuk, even though he didn't do good in the Jets opener. Jordan Mason is killing it, and McCaffrey, who knows how long he's going to be out for. So if you draft Jordan Mason, you're in luck, man. And then how do you guys feel about Brock Purdy?
Honestly, I like Brock Purdy. I think he just had like a whatever kind of game with the Jets. But I feel like he'll bounce back. I feel like he's going to go back to the system quarterback that he is. Throw 2 touchdowns, get 250 plus yards. I'm not too worried on Brock. I would start him for sure.
Okay. Yeah, he didn't do so well. He finished just I think quarterback 24 on the week, so just under Justin Herbert and just above Bryce Young. So it didn't do so well. But yeah. Go ahead.
I was about to say, I mean, they pretty much ran in their touchdowns, and Ayuk dropped that pretty much open ball right there.
Yeah,
so
right. I
think that they'll throw the ball for a touchdown for sure.
Yeah, he's due for a bounce back then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, on the Vikings side, you got Aaron Jones and like Justin Jefferson. You start them. Anyone else on the Vikings that you start, or the rest of them are pretty much?
No. Just
yeah, I don't think there's anyone else there that you start. So that's pretty much it for that matchup. Anything else, guys?
I want to pick your guys' brains and see who you'd start Jordan Mason over.
Okay.
Like, where do you have him tiered in this week 2 matchup?
Mm-hmm. Oh, bro, the way that offense moves, man. I mean, if you have him, I think you fit him into your lineup. I take him over.
Do you take him over Aaron Jones?
I take him over. Yeah, I take him over Aaron Jones.
Wow. Okay. Do you take him over Montgomery?
No.
It's a tough one, man. I don't know. It's toss up.
Let's do an interesting one. Both the top waiver wire ads. Do you do him or Dobbins?
Mason.
I think I do Jordan Mason over Dobbins. Dobbins is I'm just waiting for him to fall apart.
Yeah.
It's going to happen in 2 or 3 games. Hopefully not, but if he does, I didn't get him in any waivers, so if he falls apart, it's all good with me.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd probably take him over like Ramondre, White, B-Rob, Singletary, Zeke. Taking Mason over those guys for sure. Just for this week, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Let's move on to the Seahawks and Patriots matchup. I mean, do you trust DK this week?
I have DK as a sit this week. I got him at like a C- grade for the matchup. He got shadowed by Surtain last week.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Probably not a fun time. And this week is also tough. He goes against Christian Gonzalez. Also a great cornerback, bro. So, also a very slept on cornerback. So, I don't think he has a good time again, bro. And also in the press conference, DK mentioned that the coach said specifically we're leaning on the run. Right?
Yeah.
If you look at the game last week, they ran the game, like they ran a lot. So,
yeah.
I mean, you probably got to start DK if you drafted him, but just temper your expectations because it doesn't look to be a great week.
Right. So Kenneth Walker is currently dealing with looks like an oblique injury.
Abdomen.
It is abdomen, right? Okay. Yeah. I mean, he didn't practice today. So if he doesn't play, you start Zach Charbonnet for sure.
100%.
If you have him.
I think Walker is playing. I mean, he said in the press conference, he's like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. He did say that.
That's what he was saying, but.
Right. Do you play Charbonnet if Kenneth Walker plays?
Probably not. Not yet.
Okay.
Honestly, if you don't have a flex, like if you're iffy on a flex, I would take that risk. Like if you're iffy, let's say on a Zamir White. You got Zamir White, you got Charbonnet. I'm going I'm going Charbonnet. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Charbonnet was getting a lot of that work. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's only if you have an iffy kind of flex. That's pretty much
right.
That's the only way I'm starting it.
Do you flex Lockett?
I'm flexing Lockett. I'm
flex worthy then.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you start anyone on the Patriots at all? Ramondre had a good week.
At this point, just Ramondre.
You saw
all the volume. Antonio Gibson saw nothing. So
yeah.
Why not? Antonio Gibson also is injured. I don't know if that's like the scapegoat excuse, but time will tell, right? He has like a hip injury.
Okay.
And Ramondre saw everything.
Right.
But that's true. I mean, I'm only starting Ramondre if I only have Ramondre as like my RB2 or something. Or because he's going to get the touches for sure. But
Zach Charbonnet or Ramondre?
Ramondre.
Okay, if Kenneth Walker doesn't play, Zach Charbonnet or Ramondre?
Charbonnet.
Oh, Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, take Ramondre over Charbonnet unless Kenneth Walker is out, in which case you start Charbonnet. But let's move on from there. Anything else or nah?
No, sir.
Cool. Giants versus the Commanders. Don't start anyone from the Giants. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I mean, you can, Malik Neighbors, obviously you have to start him. I mean, he's getting all the attention. from our good friend Daniel Jones. And then, do you start Singletary? Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm starting Singletary.
I think if there is a game to start Singletary, it's this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He gets all the volume, right, in New York. That's the positive sign. I'm not a fan. I took no Singletary this year, and I'm happy about it. So,
Yeah.
I'm not stressing. But I think this week he has a decent game.
Yeah,
Okay.
honestly, I'm the same thing. I think you start. I feel like it's going low key be a high scoring game because I'm not a fan of both of their defenses. Their defenses are pretty bad.
Ramondre or Singletary?
Ramondre.
As crazy as it may sound, I think I'm going Singletary. I think
Okay, we're
Singletary
split there.
but I feel like it'll be just really close within a few points. But I think Singletary might get the edge.
I'm a Ramondre hater, so I'm with BBTB on this. Singletary, start him over Ramondre.
Yes, sir.
We'll recap next week who was
on the Commander side, wide receivers. Do you start Terry McLaurin?
I got him as a B grade start this week.
So, I'm in a pickle. I'm in this pickle right now, and I wonder if you can answer this for me. Do I start Terry McLaurin or do I start Lazard, who I just picked up off the waivers? Lazard, the Jets are playing the Titans.
Yeah, I get it. It would depend on your matchup, right?
Right.
I'm like pretty sure it's Terry McLaurin, bro.
Nah, I'm going Lazard.
I'm leaning Lazard until I know that Jaden Daniels can throw the ball and not just run it all over the field, and he can actually get.
I get that, but I think in this divisional game, right?
Yeah,
I think it should be back and forth scoring,
mm-hmm.
and then like a lot of different people should eat.
That's true. Daniel Jones throwing the ball, I don't know if anyone eats.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's maybe not Daniel Jones, but Jaden Daniels, like he'll at least try. He's not accurate.
Yeah.
But like he's boom or bust, bro. Because Terry goes vertical and he hits one, it's a tud, right?
Yeah. 100%.
So that's what I'm saying. It's boom or bust,
Yeah.
The thing is, I am a fan of a lot of the named players on Washington and Commanders. You know what I mean? Like I like Neighbors and Singletary. I like Jaden Daniels, B-Rob, and
Brian Robinson.
Just I feel like you kind of do start them over some certain guys. I'm not too sure, but I do like them because I think it's going to be a high scoring game.
Divisional matchup, yeah. Usually you want to start those guys. It hopefully will be a shootout. That's what we're praying for if you're in fantasy. So start guys in divisional matchups. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the most fun game of the week: Chargers Panthers.
Ooh.
Anyone? Is there anyone that you possibly could start on the Panthers offense? Anyone?
No.
Not if you want to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I said it in early episodes just in case anyone tuned in late to the Hoodni's podcast. I called Andy Dalton starting by week 4 or 5, so just wait on it.
I feel like I remember that because BBTV put him as his sleeper quarterback.
I put Bryce Young as my sleeper quarterback.
He put Bryce Young as a bounce back sleeper this year.
Yeah,
bounce back.
Yeah. Look, we'll see about that one. Man.
Hold up, give him
that homie about to bounce back to the couch at home, bro.
He's not going nowhere, man. Oh my goodness. All right, ignore the Panthers Chargers side. I think, in my opinion, Lad McConkey is worth a flex, and J.K. Dobbins, if you got him off the waivers, you got him to use him. So you start J.K. Dobbins
for sure.
And just pray that he doesn't get injured. That's just his only drawback, but he is an explosive back. He gets a ton of yards per carry.
This week, I'm taking J.K. Dobbins over Ramondre, by the way, because I know people drafted Ramondre with their 6th round pick.
That's one thing I could agree with.
Yeah,
for sure. I think I have them like side by side, but Dobbins is
Like, let me ask you this: I have this predicament myself. How do you guys feel about Gus Edwards? Do you play Gus Edwards against Carolina? I mean, they're going to be running the ball like crazy, right? Or is he just up in the air? No,
I could see that because if they're up a lot and like they know, like, listen, if you're the coach, right? You're Harbaugh. You know J.K. Dobbins' injury history. you're not gonna give him 20 carries a game, bro.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, you're just not, bro.
Yeah,
you're gonna give the ball to Gus. You know what I'm saying? So that's that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so he may be worth a flex in the deeper leagues. So if you have him, you might be able to start him. I mean, Panthers are just terrible, so makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to the Saints Cowboys.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, you start CeeDee Lamb. That's obvious.
Yeah.
Olave, question marks around him. Do you start him or not?
So, as an Olave fan, right? I know BBTB faded him. So far, it's looking good for him.
Yes, sir.
But I got him as a B grade start, surprisingly, this week.
Against the Cowboys, that's...
the main reason being, I think a majority of the time, like 70% around, he will not be on Trayvon Diggs' side, right? Which is the corner you don't want covering you.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, like, on the bright side, and what I had called out in a previous episode is that, and why I was high on Olave, is because they have, coaching staff from Shanahan Tree. They use a ton of pre-snap motion, which they did last week, right? I think they were the second highest team in pre-snap motion. So eventually that will help Olave in the game.
Right.
So I got him slightly bouncing back this week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks got a touchdown last week. Do you start him against the Cowboys? I mean, sorry, against the Saints. My bad.
I'd start him at the flex.
He's flex worthy? Okay. You start Brandon Cooks or Ladd McConkey against Panthers?
McConkey.
Okay.
Yeah, Ladd McConkey for sure. Let me give you one. What about Brandon Cooks or Rashid Shaheed?
Yeah, oh man, that's a tough one, man.
I've ever seen, bro.
That's a big toss up.
I don't know.
That's a tough one.
I'm going Rashid Shaheed because I'm a Saints fan. Only reason why I can do it.
I feel you.
I mean, yeah, man. I think I take the shot on Shaheed and just hope that.
Let me give an easier one: Brandon Cooks or Tyler Lockett.
I think
Lockett.
Yeah, I think I take Lockett.
Brandon Cooks or JSN.
Brandon Cooks.
Cooks.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Against the Cowboys, you sit Derek Carr. Don't start Derek Carr. If he performs against the Cowboys, be happy you have him on your team. I mean, that's impressive. Cowboys defense is rock solid. So, pause.
What you got?
Yeah,
we're gonna divert just for a second. I think that this is going to be the upset game of the week. I think the Saints beat the Cowboys this week and show why we are the Saints.
Yeah. Yep. Sure.
Who dat nation?
Yeah. Coming from Mr. Bench 550, who dat? Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see about that. We'll talk about that next week's podcast episode.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on. Colts Packers. I mean, you start Anthony Richardson. Do you start anyone on the Packers side besides Josh Jacobs? Do you we got Malik Willis still on the ball?
Look,
are any of those receivers startable?
I think they are startable because Malik Willis, he got 2 plays at the end of the game, looked horrible. I know, but think about it. He's not thinking of him. He's going to go out there on that last drive. He just got tossed in there. I feel like.
Do you remember? I think it was last year or the year before. Malik Willis stepped in when on the Titans offense, and he was just absolutely terrible. Like, he just could not do much.
I don't remember that, but I think
slightly remember, but not really.
Yeah.
Look, I think that the scheme of the Packers will try to help Malik Willis as best as they can. I'm not saying Malik Willis, not even close to being startable, but I feel like
we're talking about the receivers, right?
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like Reed and Dubes, or Romeo Dobbs, I think, I feel like they're just decent to start. I'm not saying since they're 50, toss ups, iffy. If you have a guy that you know that you should start over them, cool, start. But if you have a couple iffy players, you're not too sure to start this one or this one, and you got Reed or you got Dobbs, I'm taking one of those on an iffy start.
I would, I mean, I wouldn't I wouldn't risk it unless I needed to.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, they have 4 good receivers, and
we don't know who Malik Willis is going to favor.
So I would see this week, like, hey, I would see what happens, who gets fed the volume, who could get the ball in their hands, and then take it from there.
I mean,
right?
A lot of these receivers,
I wouldn't risk any start this week for a Packer receiver.
Yeah, a lot of these receivers you drafted anyways around the flex position, right? Around round 7 or so, right? I don't think you took any of these receivers round 6 or earlier. So these guys are probably in your flex anyways. If you can pivot to someone else, I would, and just kind of watch from the sidelines. If you want to take a shot on Reed just because he had that big week last week, sure. But I think Dobbs had more targets last week and that was with Jordan Love. So I don't know. If you want to take a shot, sure, but I would try to just stay away.
Yeah.
If you can. Colts side of the ball, I think you start Jonathan Taylor. You're not going to sit him. You can start Pittman. You start Anthony Richardson. Do you start Alec Pierce, who got the 3 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown?
Depends if Josh Downs is back.
Okay.
That's what I would dictate it on.
If Josh Downs is back, you sit him. If he's not back, you start him or you flex him.
If he's not back, then you could play him as a boom bust flex option.
Yeah,
that's what I would do. Pittman, I low-key don't like or trust with Anthony Richardson as QB.
Okay, would you take Alec Pierce or Pittman as your flex?
Pittman.
I might be thinking. Hold on.
I'm thinking, bro. It's tough, bro. I might do the Alec Pierce play.
Wow.
Okay. That would be a 10,000 IQ if you did that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Hey. I mean, honestly, it's just week 2. We don't have a lot of data coming in. We've only seen 1 week. Yeah. We'll know more by next week about these players.
Bro, the homie just planted his feet and chucked up 60 yards. He didn't even step back. No, he just
yeet. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean he's got a cannon for an arm, and he.
I'll take Alec Pierce over all the Packers players, all of them.
Really?
Yeah,
okay. Okay. I mean, hey, that's that people want to know because a lot of people did draft these guys, in their flex, like around 7, 8, 9, and they want to use them. They got excited after Jaden Reed or what's his name? Jaden Reed went and had a killer game. So, but let's move on from Colts Packers to the Browns Jaguars. You don't start anyone from the Browns. They're dog crap. They're terrible. Deshaun Watson sucks. They need to just unleash Jameis Winston and just let him go stupid. Honestly, in my opinion,
I'll start Jerome Ford.
Yeah. Well, in the receiver, yeah. But Jerome Ford against, I think they're just going to be playing against the Jaguars. They may not be playing from behind. Yeah, Jerome Ford is definitely startable. He did pretty good last week I think he was one of the best. I think he performed the best on the team.
Yep.
He had 44 yards and a touchdown. And then 6 receptions for 25 yards. So he's startable for sure. On the Jaguar side, what do you do with Evan Ingram? He had a terrible week last week.
Start him. I'd start him. I feel like he just had a bad week. Dolphins had.
You drafted him round 6, probably. Your tight end position. Yeah. If you don't have a backup tight end, if you got Isaiah Likely off, we'll talk about him in a minute. But if you got Isaiah Likely, you start Isaiah Likely over.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't. If you don't have a better option, then I think you start Evan Ingram. If Evan Ingram or the Rams tight end, what's his name?
Parkinson.
Colby Parkinson.
You start Parkinson, or do you start against the Browns defense, Evan Ingram?
I would.
I think Sean Colby.
I'd probably do Colby.
I think Sean.
Because Browns D's still solid, but I don't know. It's a tough one.
It's tough.
It's going to be interesting to see where the volume goes back because Kirk and Ingram saw nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be interesting, right? But hey, my deep sleeper I mentioned before in early episodes. Yeah. Brian Thomas, baby. I told you.
Brian Thomas. Yep. Hey,
don't say MFB didn't tell you.
That's crazy.
That boy was nice.
I hope you guys watch that episode.
Nice.
He's a for sure flex. For sure flex.
Easily,
at least, solid, bro.
You at least
he's solid, bro. If y'all got league mates that don't like really know not starting him, go buy him low.
Yeah.
Yep. How about Christian Kirk? Do you buy him low? What do you do with that guy?
Man, that's what I'm trying to figure out in another league.
I'm not starting Kirk. I'm not.
I have Kirk in a league, and I don't think I'm starting him.
Nah, don't start.
I'll start him in my flex and see what's up again.
I think this is a question I have, just for fun: Christian Kirk or Xavier Worthy?
Worthy, long shot.
I think Worthy, bro.
Yeah, that's where I lean, and I'm going with Worthy this week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, if I had Brian Thomas over Kirk for sure,
and I think over Worthy too.
I have Kirk over the Green Bay dudes. I have Kirk over Ridley.
Yeah,
which we'll get into. Yeah, which we'll get into next. Yeah. Actually, Jets Titans. Yeah, are we done with these matchup? Can we move to Jets Titans?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Jets Titans. I mean, we saw Jets Monday night against SF. That I think they're playing a tough defense. Aaron Rodgers' first NFL game since that injury.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he picks it up, plays better. Titans defense isn't bad, but I think he does better. Obviously, you start Garrett Wilson. Lazard, I think, is a decent flex option. Yeah. I think he's, and I mentioned in the last episode in the recap, him and Aaron Rodgers had, history back in Green Bay together. So, Mike Williams out there doing cardio?
Yeah, that man was doing cardio a lot. I think he had 0 targets.
I think so too, and let me confirm that.
He got nothing. I'm pretty sure he got nothing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I believe he had 0 targets.
Mm-hmm. On the topic of Lazard being flex worthy, I don't know if I trust that yet, man. I would need to see some consistency before I trust him.
Trust
in the flex, Lazard.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I would trust him if before on Green Bay he did something, but
right.
It's not there, bro. There's no pedigree, right? There's no resume, so
yeah,
I'm not trusting him just yet.
Okay. Obviously you start Breece Hall. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think you start him. He's not really startable. Aaron Rodgers against the Titans or Derek Carr against the Cowboys?
Derek Carr against the Cowboys, baby.
I
think Aaron Rodgers.
I might start Aaron Rodgers.
I would go Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Derek Carr, he played the Panthers last week. This is our real challenge.
Yeah.
So,
on the Titans side of the ball, do you start anyone outside of besides the running back,
Pollard?
Pollard, yeah.
So the weird part about that is we saw Pollard get most of the work. Then we see the coach come in and say, "Hey, I wish we involve Spears more," right?
Mm-hmm.
Which now is more like of an inclination to back to 50-50, which is what people predicted beforehand.
Yeah.
Now, do we see that? I don't know. Right.
We're dealing with very limited.
It's a new coach, right? So we don't have any real data points to go off of to really check. Hey, is he being for real? Is he capping about the usage?
Right.
So I feel like Pollard owners got hella juiced, and then they're like, man, I don't know if I should really start him.
Yeah.
So it's a tough struggle. Time will tell. They did have Spears in every third down, but I think that's mainly because Pollard is not a pass blocker. So that's the reason, right?
Right. Makes sense.
So people always look into snap percentages, but take snap percentages with a grain of salt. But look at what they're doing out on the snap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are they blocking or are they running a route? It depends. It matters.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I don't know if you start any of the receivers there on the Titans side, but
I'm sitting Ridley. I'm sitting D Hop.
Yeah, you got to say who's getting the volume, Ridley or D Hop.
D Hop was terrible. He's dealing with the injury, I think. No,
Tyler Boyd's there too. So you kind of don't know where the ball's going a little bit.
D-Hop he's okay. He's not dealing with injury. He's fine. Just didn't do much. Yeah, that's about it in that matchup. I mean, we can compare these guys, but
nah, not really.
I think we need more data before we can really get a feel for these guys. Mm-hmm. Do you flex Lazard or do you start Ridley? I have that option in the league.
I'm flexing Lazard.
I'm flexing Lazard, man. I put him in. Unless
I'm going Ridley.
Wow.
Hey,
I already explained. I don't trust Lazard, so I'm going Ridley.
Respect. Let's move on. Bucks Lions. I mean Godwin. Well, he did great. You obviously start him. You start Mike Evans. Mm-hmm. You start Rashad White. Mm-hmm. Do you start Bucky Irving against that Lions defense?
No, not yet.
Wait for him to get worked in.
Probably not yet, but like, you need to pick up Bucky if he's not picked up yet.
Yeah. Make sure you have him in your leagues. I mean, you can start Mayfield if you got him off the waivers, you could probably start Mayfield again. I mean, that's a good Lions defense, but I think Mayfield is a startable QB now. What's your guys' take?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
He's startable, but Detroit D's pretty good. Like they could test Baker.
Yeah, temper your expectations for Baker, but he's definitely a flex, like a stream option. If I don't know, you had a quarterback that just like you don't trust, or you have Caleb Williams or something. That's pretty much it for the Bucks. For the Lions, I mean, you start Jahmyr Gibbs, you start Montgomery. Dude, I just have to say, and I said it before, and I'll say it again, like Montgomery runs like a beast, dude. Like, and I really didn't think he was going to do a lot of the carries. I thought they were just going to start, transforming into all Gibbs, but nah, unless something happens to Montgomery, that they're going to keep just, Dan Campbell's going to be like, all right, Montgomery, it's your turn. And,
I mean, hey, I tried to tell my own podcast mate here, Chemo, when we covered the NFC, that, hey, it's the same offense, the same coaches, same players, same game plan, bro. They're going to run with both. I grabbed Montgomery anywhere I could in any draft.
Yeah.
Look, I have a crazy hot take. I think Jameson Williams is going to be, honestly, like the top performer of the game again. What happened last week? Again.
Wow.
Okay.
I think he's...
That is a hot take.
I think he's probably top 3 flexes for sure. I'm high on Jameson Williams. Drafted him. I reached for him in a couple of my leagues too, like rounds 8.
Jameson Williams or Brian Thomas?
I'm going Jameson. I'm high on Jameson for sure.
I think I'm going... That's close, bro. That's close.
As for safety, I take Brian Thomas. If you need the upside, you're low. Like you need more like upside. I think you can take Jameson.
It's very close. Maybe slightly Jameson.
Yeah.
Because again, I mentioned
Amon-Ra. Yeah.
To my own horn real quick that the coach was talking up Dan Campbell, talking up a lot about J-Mo.
And you said it, and we've said before. Yep, he's a straight shooter, bro. If Dan Campbell says something,
if he talks about J-Mo, they using J-Mo.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra was terrible last week. Obviously, you start him. Any doubts about him this week?
Nah, I got no doubts. I got him as a bounce back A grade.
Okay.
This matchup, bro. Specifically because, like, the last season when he played Tampa Bay, he feasted.
Okay.
In this matchup, he's against, I believe, a rookie cornerback, bro. So it's going to be a welcome to the league type of moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Nice. Laporta. Any thoughts on him?
Start.
You got to start him, right? I mean, you're not sitting Laporta.
I don't know if he's bouncing back.
Look, we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, you didn't draft. Okay, let's say you went and got Isaiah Likely off the waivers. Do you start Likely or do you start Laporta?
I'm going Likely, dude.
That's
all right, bro. You're just speaking crazy.
No, think about it. No. Think about this logic. They're playing the Raiders this week.
Let's not spend too much time on this, but go ahead.
I know, just real quick. Just they're playing the Raiders. The Raiders.
We'll get into that next, but yeah.
We're going to get into it next. But to put it in short, Likely, Mark Andrews is still there.
Yep.
Likely it's not going to have a repeat performance. I will be shocked. Like,
we'll talk about it on the radio.
I'll be kind of shocked. Likely looked amazing though.
Yeah,
credit to him. Look, he's a beast.
Yeah, why don't we just go ahead and move into it? Raiders versus Ravens. Isaiah Likely. I mean, I hope in your league that you picked him up. If you didn't, and he's on the waivers for some odd reason, your league is it's like your work league. I don't know. Go pick up Isaiah Likely, bro. Make sure he's on your team. Figure it out with whoever you have on your team. Drop whoever you need to. But yeah, he performed amazing. He was literally one catch, like a toe away from an amazing night.
Yeah,
having that game tying touchdown. He had the most targets on the team. If you got him off the waivers, you're starting Likely. What do you do with Mark Andrews if you got Likely off the waivers? And let's say you're Mark.
Let me give my input here real quick.
Yep, jump in.
I really forgot the numbers. I wish I had them in front of me. But Mark Andrews, I think if I might be wrong, he ran more routes than Likely in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Obviously he didn't see the ball. Obviously Likely saw everything. Okay. Yeah. People are speculating what's wrong. Oh, homie was in a car accident. Whatever their theory crafting out there.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's not a bad sign, right? They ran so much 12 personnel, right? They have both Mark and Likely out there.
Yep.
So they might still run that if it works for them in the game.
Yeah.
But like other teams are going to game plan like, hey, we have to mark Likely,
Yeah.
Other defense are going to focus on that. Like Mark Andrews will get his. He still ran routes, bro.
Mm-hmm.
As much as people are freaking out. So I think he bounces back. I think Likely regresses. Yeah. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I think Likely definitely regresses as well.
Yes, slightly, but I'm still taking Likely over Laporta this week. That's another crazy hot take.
A little bit. That's a hot take here. BBTB with the ridiculous takes. Remember, guys, he's the one that's saying I'm not the Hoodnies. BBTB over here.
I've been right a few times though.
Yeah. If you're,
all right, let's move it to the Raiders players. Any of these guys starts? I mean, obviously we have Devontae Adams you're starting, but
I think
let's talk about like the Zamir White-Madison situation.
I mean, I think you start in this matchup. I think you start Devontae Adams, and everyone else is like huge question marks. Like if you have someone else, start someone else. Like Zamir White and Alexander Madison. I don't know what happened. Madison had less work, but Zamir White was really inefficient on the floor. I think you
super inefficient.
In my opinion, you keep them both on your bench this week.
Yeah,
against a tough Raiders defense, and then Jacoby Myers. If you must, I would flex Lazard over Jacoby Myers, and we might be wrong on that one. Maybe Jacoby Myers is a bounce back week.
Mm-hmm.
With Gardner Minshew throwing the ball and looking very confused.
I feel that. Hey, back to our a little flashback to the Fades episode. I did mention that Madison was looking good in camp.
Okay.
And we see Madison showing up here, bruh. It's another MFB prediction, not BBTB type shit.
Make sure you guys listen to MFB. You got some good points. That's pretty much it for that matchup. I mean, the Raiders, it's just Devontae Adams pretty much.
Yeah, we got to see what's happening.
Rams Cardinals game of the week because the Cardinals are in it. Who do you guys? I mean, what happened to Puka? Very unfortunate.
Tough. What happened?
Very sad.
Cooper Cup owners.
Man, these guys are riding high.
Lotto. 21 targets, insane.
21 targets.
High on so obviously he's gonna eat versus the Cardinals. If I had to, over under Cooper Cup targets. 13.5.
Over.
Wow.
Matt Stafford loves Cooper Cup.
Remember that.
Those guys have they for sure. Bromance. Oh my God. Cooper Cup and
all right. So the more interesting thing to talk about here is like, well, who else is going to eat in the Puka role, quote unquote, right? We have like DeMarcus Robinson, Tyler Johnson, right? I think between those two, who do you think scores more in the matchup, let's say?
DeMarcus.
It's a toss-up, but I think you trust DeMarcus Robinson more. Like that, you want to flex one of the two.
Yeah,
you flex.
I agree.
Robinson.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. And then you obviously start Kyron Williams. That you can take a shot. You can flex. I mean, not flex. Sorry, you can start Colby, was it Parkinson, the tight end?
Oh yeah,
the tight end landscape is pretty barren. Mm-hmm. So I'm not mad at if you want to start the tight end from the Rams. That's about it from the Rams side of things. Cardinals, I mean, Marvin Harrison. Wow, that
was crazy.
Not a good debut. I got him this week in the matchup as a B grade.
Okay. B for bouncing back.
A B for bouncing back. But I think as far as like his routes last week, right? Besides his one catch, right? But most of his routes are like very vertical, right? It's kind of where he excels.
Mm-hmm.
So against like, too high coverage, depending on how good the defense is at that, right? Which the Bills are extremely good, mm-hmm. right? The Rams D is ranking super low in too high coverage. So this is the bounce back game for Marvin Harrison.
Okay. All right. You guys heard the breakdown here from MFB. Yeah, you draft him early, you have to start him. There's not many leagues you don't start him in. If you're in a 6-man league, you're not really playing fantasy football, or like an 8-man league. So I mean, yeah, if he's in your league, you're starting him. I want to say like James Conner was great against the Bills last week. You obviously start James Conner. Kyler Murray, I think this game will be better for him. Same with Trey McBride, tight end. I mean, you drafted him 4th, 5th round, pretty early on. You expect big things out of him. I think he had the most targets last week out of all players on the Cardinals. I think you start McBride with confidence,
mm-hmm.
And then, hope for the best. If he doesn't do anything, we start raising question marks on these guys. But the other guys, Greg Dortch, Michael Wilson, I think you leave them on your bench and just see what happens, because we don't have enough data on these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take a shot? I mean, I'm not going to tell you to, but yeah, I think you leave them on your bench and just let them see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Bengals, we got four more matchups, so let's try and crank through these for you guys.
Yes,
this is a long episode. I don't know if you're still listening to this. Keep listening, man. There's some good data still to come.
Mm-hmm.
Bengals Chiefs. I mean, obviously Mahomes, Kelsey, Rashee Rice.
Jake.
Do you start Xavier Worthy?
Yeah, I do.
I would say as a flex. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a solid flex though.
Yeah, I mean, we said him over Christian Kirk, right?
Like I have him over Kirk. I have him over J-Mo, and I have him over Brian Thomas.
Okay, I mean, it's a solid flex in my opinion.
I think.
I can take that.
That's about where I have him.
If you ask me, honestly, just the way that the Chiefs offense runs, he's going to be involved in those weird, like jet sweep, like random trick carry plays that they hand him the ball, because he's fast, man.
And when those plays work, they work, bro.
Yeah, and they get easily
if like one of those
yards.
Plays works, it's like five points for you.
Yeah, easily. So I mean, not to take away from Pacheco, who you're obviously starting. He did great last week. He runs like a cartoon character, but like he I think people described him that he runs like he's angry at the floor. Like he's just like,
oh yeah,
he just, the way he stomps is ridiculous. But yeah, obviously you start Pacheco. Even though Worthy may take some of those carries from him, you're not worried about that. That's the Chiefs side. I mean, question marks around Kelsey. I said before in the previous episode.
They know question marks.
I said in the previous episode, don't overreact after week 1. Chiefs, that's Chiefs. Bengals, what do you do about Jamar Chase? And does T. Higgins play this week?
T. Higgins, probably not. So you start Chase again.
Yep.
And pray he goes dumb.
That's
Chase is, I was looking at like numbers of Chase. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but
right.
The reason I don't take a lot of Chase and I don't trade for a lot of Chase is he's always been historically inconsistent. But also historically, he'll drop like one wild bomb game where he goes like 40 plus, right? Once every season he does it. Which hopefully you win that week if he does.
Yeah.
And then he'll have a couple 20 bombs, and then like the rest is very like low single digit games. So it's just kind of aggravating to have as a fantasy manager.
Right. No, agreed.
But regardless, you're starting him.
Yeah.
Simple.
Agreed. You have to. You can't leave that guy on your bench.
The more interesting thing is which we saw last week, the backfield for the Bengals, right? We saw Zach Moss pretty much, take over low key, and Chase Brown not getting too much volume, and everybody was kind of more on the hype train of Chase Brown.
Do you start Zach Moss this week?
I would start Zach Moss.
Yeah, I mean, I'd start
him or Singletary.
Zach Moss.
Singletary.
Oh, okay. We're split here.
God, you are tripping.
Singletary.
On the Bengals offense, I mean, without T. Higgins, with just, I might take Singletary too. I'm not gonna lie to you. Zach Moss probably safer bet, and he's the better back. But yeah, I don't know. The Chiefs defense is pretty good.
Just one thing, I would sit Joe Burrow. I have Joe Burrow. I'm sitting him, and I'm playing Goff over Joe Burrow. I'm not taking that risk.
This is a BBTB hot take, everyone. Listen to the BBTB hot take.
That's not.
It's a very hot take.
Burrow's his wrist. He says wrist is fine.
I don't blame BBTB on this.
Yeah, hot take. Anyways,
but I do have you'd be surprised because Bengals games are kind of interesting. When they play very good teams, they kind of do well.
Right.
It's interesting, but we'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see if they do it again this year.
Yep. Okay.
Let's jump into
a low-key dog game.
Steelers and MFB's team, the Broncos.
Can we just skip this segment, bro?
All right. Anyways, Bears, Texans, Sunday Night Football. No, I was playing.
No, you're tripping.
So Steelers, Broncos. I think you don't start a Bronco.
Do not start a Bronco. Not even one.
Javonte. Yeah, I have Javonte. I'm not starting.
Throw him on the waivers. I don't mean nothing, bro.
I considered it. In our last episode. Man. So ignoring Broncos, since we just said no one starts from there. Steelers. I mean, do you start George Pickens against Pat Surtain?
No. PS2. That man got paid. Best corner in the league, my opinion.
Yeah, bro. What he did unless Pickens doesn't play on his side. If he does, then it's donezo.
He's going to pick him to the side and locking him up. Trust.
Steelers. You're pretty much just starting Najee Harris and desperation play Justin Fields.
That is a very big desperation play.
You got to be 16 deep in the league if you're starting.
16 man. Yeah.
Some people
some of us are in 16-man leagues. You feel me?
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
we go to the Sunday night.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Steelers Broncos, very easy. Bears Texans. I think when they were making this matchup, they thought it was going to be a lot crazier. But just the way the Bears look with Caleb Williams, just don't look that great. Mm-hmm. Keenan Allen is dealing with an injury, I think.
Heel.
BBTB, do you know what injury that is?
Yeah, it's the heel injury.
Thank you. This is our injury expert analysis, BBTV.
Yeah. That's Keenan's injury, right?
Yeah.
Dunze is also injured.
Well, Dunze's
out. He's week to week, I think.
Out, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, Keenan was dealing with that in camp too. And so...
so it's flared up? Dang, man, that's tough. I hate that.
Avoiding him easily.
Keenan Allen, yeah. No, I mean, this is why you pay attention to camp and see players that have injuries and if they have injury history. So, and their age plays a factor into it. But do you start anyone on the Bears, actually? Like, now that we think about it, like, let's break that down.
With those two out, DJ Moore is like a money start.
Yeah.
Even against a tough D. I know Swift didn't do great. I would still start Swift, bro.
No.
Like, as a flex.
Mm-hmm. Really?
I don't have him too high, but I have him near Pollard, Jerome Ford-ish area.
No, I would not start. What's his name again? I blanked for a second. DeAndre Swift. I would not start DeAndre Swift. He looked horrible. He didn't want to be out there. I wouldn't even start Caleb Williams. Like, that backfield looks, I don't know. I think you just got to see it. I think there's better flexes. You didn't go and picked up some solid people off the waivers. There's better people you could play.
Swift or Singletary?
Singletary, mile.
I'm going Swift.
Oh, you're
Swift or Zach Moss?
I don't know. It's tough.
Swift
Swift or Zach Moss?
It's Zach Moss.
Swift.
Zach.
I'm going Swift.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm going Swift.
Against the Texans defense, I think I take Zach. Oh man, they're playing the Chiefs.
Chiefs defense. Yeah, that's
dude. I think I. Oh man, dude. I think I just have Swift on my team. I think I play Swift.
Nah, I'm going Zach Moss. I'm not.
So on the flip side, this is an interesting one. Do we sit anyone on the Texans besides maybe Dalton Schultz?
You probably start everybody. Well, I mean, obviously you're gonna. Bro, Dalton Schultz is a cut at this point, bro.
Don't keep
I've been told that he was my tight end fade. Cut him.
Yeah.
You're not seeing the ball, bro.
Yeah. And even if he does have that 1 week and he blows up, sell him immediately if you have him. Yeah. Or this is my favorite players to have ever is a bomb. And you drop them to the waivers and they're a bomb. And some idiot is going to see that bomb and go, oh my God, he got 15 fantasy points.
That's what we call sabotage.
They're going to pick him up. I swear. They're going to pick him up and they're going to start him. And if you want to make it even more interesting, keep him on your team until he blows up, then drop him, and then someone else will for sure pick him up. Hopefully you're playing against that guy.
You hella funny.
Tactics, man. I mean, I've done it before. That was Kyle Pitts last year and the year before. He basically was a bomb. Just drop him to the waivers and see what happens.
But basically
Texans, you're starting everybody minus Schultz.
But basically what Kim was trying to say with that, don't get Hoodnied. You know what I'm saying? Not get Hoodnied.
Yeah. We're still working on
all right, that Monday night
coin. Monday Night Football, Falcons, Eagles. Do you sit anyone on the Eagles?
No.
That offense is on firing all cylinders.
Probably not. Maybe go Dirt.
Goddard, the tight end. I think he's, I mean, the way the tight end landscape is right now, he may be worth a start.
No, I'd start him. Against that Falcons defense,
I'd start him.
It's
better than Schultz, that's for sure.
If you picked up Isaiah Likely, play Likely. Do not play Goddard. He's not worth.
Of course. Of course, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just in case we have some very misinformed.
The more interesting here is the Falcons players, right?
Right.
Specifically, I'm going to talk about Drake London here. Mm-hmm. People spent some good draft capital on that boy, and they ain't too happy. I got him as a C- grade in this matchup, bro.
And you're sitting him?
Man, I mean, obviously you don't want to sit him, but like, bro, like it's not even his fault. It's just that I think the inside D line of the Eagles is the top ranked. Kirk Cousins has zero mobility, bro. He can't move in the pocket. That means any pressure comes, he can't step away from it.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even one step. The homie's like reaching Joe Flacco age. Okay. So, and on top of that, the Falcons have they have such a predictable offense. Right. Like it's not hard to be a defensive coordinator, I guess, against them. Right. I think they get eaten up.
So, I mean,
it's another matchup where they said, "Oh, this is gonna be fire," and then it's not like the Sunday night one, you know?
Yeah, they made they were like, "Oh, Falcons, they got Kirk Cousins," and then they realized what do we do? That was like last year when they had the Jets and all these primetime games, and then Aaron Rodgers' Achilles injury in the first game of the season, and then they were like, "Oh, they had Zach Wilson, like Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night last year. It was all bad." I mean. Obviously, Bijan, you start him. And then Pitts, if you drafted him, I mean, you start him. He got a touchdown last week. Mm-hmm. So let's hope that, I mean, Kirk Cousins and him connect. If they can keep connecting, man, I mean, he's what, you hoped he would have been in the last few years. He had very few touchdowns in the last few years. So if he can get 2 games with touchdowns in a row, that's worth plenty. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that's it for that matchup and all the matchups. Anything else on the matchups?
Nah.
No.
That'll do it, man. That's pretty much it. We're going to just go over real quick a couple of defenses to stream and kickers to stream if you're able to get them. I put in there Chris Boswell. You guys can object to this if you want. Chris Boswell from the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are going to score a lot this year.
No, they're not.
And I think Mike Tomlin will just get the points that he needs. So if he can get just a field goal, he'll take a field goal. He's not going to just go and force it and we saw that they had 6 field goals last week, and they won.
Mm-hmm.
No touchdowns, and they won the game. And Mike Tomlin is notorious for winning without having to do much, just getting the win.
Yeah.
And that defense is good. So they're playing against the Panthers, or no, sorry, not Panthers. Sorry. Steelers are playing against the Broncos, and the Broncos are not moving at all either with that Steelers defense. So McPherson from Cincinnati, they're playing against Kansas City. So, I mean, they're not going to be getting, they might not be able to get into the end zone. So you're just going to kick the ball at that point.
Yeah.
So McPherson could be a good play this week.
I was thinking
defenses.
Real quick, I was also thinking of Blake Grupe. I feel like Blake Grupe, just because.
No, the teams he played for again?
The Saints.
Oh, crazy! That's so crazy.
Listen.
Wow.
The reason why is because I feel like a couple plays, like Olave is going to kind of do his thing. Rashid Shaheed is going to try to get open on the long ball. Once they get it down the field on their end, Cowboys are a really good red zone team, and I think they're going to stop them a few times. So I feel like Grupe will just kick those field goals. So I think Grupe would be a good streamer or a good streamer
for kickers. Because, I mean, and the only reason we have this segment, guys, if you guys listen to the podcast and you don't care about kickers, you don't care about, we're going to go over defenses and we have a bonus segment. If you don't care about this stuff, turn the episode off, man. I mean, thanks for tuning in. But we're talking about kickers because we had, I mean, Chris Boswell, 26 points last week. He did better than probably most first-round picks and second-round picks.
Bro, Chris Boswell, Brandon Aubrey, they almost took a 71er.
Yeah.
They pulled him out.
Yeah, that's right, because there was a flag on the play. It was a 66-yarder he was about to go for, and he hit it.
Yeah. Jake Moody.
Yep.
Bro, kickers low-key going dumb.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And coaches are giving him the chances to hit these long shots, especially like Aubrey from the Cowboys. I mean, these kickers are worth a lot, man. Like, honestly, they'll win you a week. And so will these defenses, which is why we're doing this segment, kickers and defenses, that we're trying to get you guys that'll win you your week, you know, and these guys might actually be the difference that gets you your win. So look for these guys. If they're on your waivers, they could potentially win you your weeks. Defenses, BTB, bring up the first defense.
Got you. No brainer. Start the Chargers defense over the Panthers. Nothing crazy.
Yep.
Chargers ate up the Raiders. Raiders have a slightly better offense than the Panthers. The Chargers should eat them alive. Jags, we got Jags defense there. I think Browns are so horrible. And Jags were putting up a good fight against the Dolphins. So I like Jags versus the Browns. Mm-hmm. What else we got? We got Seattle defense versus the Pats. I know Pats won last week. I think that the Bengals just came out flat. Bengals didn't finish the way they wanted to finish, but I think Seattle's defense is that good this year that I think they do some damage against the Pats. And then the last one, honestly, one of the best defenses in the league, I think, is Steelers. Steelers event against MFB's weak ass Broncos. Start that. Don't even.
They are finna. They might drop 25 points for you.
Something. If Seattle. If Pittsburgh defense is on your waivers, somehow someone dropped them, pick them up, scoop them up, and just run those guys. I mean, the two teams, in my opinion, the two teams to target, like defense wise, is Panthers and Broncos. They're just not moving the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sorry, I'm a B, but I mean that they're just not able to get the ball moving. So if you can start those defenses, they're bound to get you at least a couple, whether it's a pick. Hopefully a pick six, fumble if they can get you fumble six, then, I mean, you're happy with one touchdown from any defense that that's playing these guys. So, look for those teams, who's playing those teams, and then put your waiver picks in too, each week. So, that's pretty much it for kickers and defenses. Any other teams that we should look for, or is that it?
That's all.
That's it.
Cool. All right, let's move on to our bonus segment. This one's going to be led by MFB. Why don't you go ahead and kick it off? Yes, sir.
So we got bonus segment, zeros to heroes. Obviously, week one finished. A lot of top picks did not perform, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we saw this last year. I'm going to fly through some stats. Try to stay with me now. Last year, 2023, week one, Jalen Hurts was QB 15. He finished as QB 3. A.J. Brown was wide receiver 26. finished as wide receiver 6. Josh Allen was QB 22, finished as QB number 1.
Wow.
James Cook was RB 29. He finished RB 11. And CeeDee Lamb was wide receiver 34, finished top wide receiver.
Yep, wide receiver 1.
Now, going into this week 1, we got a lot of people that didn't finish too strong, right? Didn't finish well at all. Left people pissed. Going 90 on the freeway type shit. Anyway, I'm going to go over where they're at, and Kimo and BBTB, you could chime in and tell me, hey, they're going to bounce back up to top 10, top 5, you know, or maybe just stay low and be bust for the whole season.
Yeah.
Who knows, right?
Potentially.
2024 week 1, CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 24. Jamar Chase, wide receiver 31. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 33. Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver 77. That's low. Bijan Robinson, RB 20. Kyron Williams, RB 22. Jonathan Taylor, RB 29. King Henry, RB 30.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go through these guys. I mean, to go back to Jalen Hurts, I mean, he finished QB 15, or sorry, he started QB 15, finished QB 3. Last week he finished QB 10. I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts. I know there's some question marks about that offense. I felt concerned because I drafted him, but because they lost Jason Kelce, the center. I mean, I think that I was like, is the tush push not going to work? Are they not going to be able to do it? BBTB thinks they'll be doing tush push just fine, but if they don't do it next week, I'm going to be very upset because I drafted him for the tush push. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's go back into the potential zeros to heroes this year. CeeDee Lamb, I'm not worried about him. Are either of you guys worried about CeeDee Lamb performing this year?
Nah, I'm pretty confident he finishes the top 5.
Okay. The only thing that you might be nervous about is just like Brandon Cooks taking touchdowns from him, because last year was all CeeDee and nothing else, right? This year,
well, Brandon Cooks was still on the team. I think he was hurt though.
That's what it was. I think he was injured most of the year, and this year he's healthy. So if he's healthy this year, I think CeeDee Lamb could siphon some touchdowns from him. I'm not worried about him though. Okay. I still think he's top 5, like you said, wide receiver. Jamar Chase. This is where eyebrows start to be raised. There's videos of Joe Burrow like messing with his wrist on the sideline, like the surgery he had on his wrist. They're saying that it's still bothering him, or he's not 100%. So, I mean, you mentioned it just recently in the matchup. I don't know. I mean, he has boomer bust kind of games. If he gets a 50-point game, that's like any other wide receivers, like 3 games or 4 games combined. So like that'll put him easily up there towards the top. But I'm a little bit concerned with Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think he goes from 0 to like mid. He's not finishing no hero.
I think my outlook right now is like last year he finished wide receiver 13. He only missed 1 game. I think probably within the 12 to 15 range he finishes again.
Yeah, I was gonna say top 15. I said in my head top 15. Yeah. I had good expectations for him. I wasn't actually aware of the wrist thing with Joe Burrow, and then with T Higgins out, the offense doesn't really move, and there's just less that goes his way.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 33. I think just with his sheer talent and with as he like builds more time with Aaron Rodgers, I think he still ends up top 15 in my opinion.
I agree, top 15 for sure.
Yeah.
Like that.
Do you guys think he ends up top 10?
No.
I think he has potentially maybe.
I think it's 10. Possible, but he has to ball out like crazy.
Yeah. I think he could end up like wide receiver 10, like at most, like 15 to 10 would be like his ceiling to me.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra, are you guys worried about him? He basically didn't play last game. Like you could say he didn't play that game.
Yeah. Like I feel like top 5 to 7. He's going to be finishing.
Oh, really? I think from between 10 and like 6 in that range. I don't think he finishes like top. 7 to 5. So maybe 7.
I can see that too. I'm just high on him this year.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Amon-Ra is going to be good.
Yeah.
Will he be top 7? I don't know. I'm not, just because there's so many weapons on that offense. Feeding.
Right.
They're starting to use J-Mo a lot more.
Yeah. So
right.
He could see regression in that sense.
Yeah.
It's tough. Siphoning away those touchdowns, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bijan, I'm not worried about him. I think he gets the volume. He's a beast. I think he ends up top 5 RB.
With the volume this year, yeah, for sure.
Top 5?
No more Arthur Smith.
You think top
5? Yes.
Yeah, dude. I think Bijan top 5. Kyron?
No.
He finished. Do you remember what he finished last year? RB. What was his finish?
RB 3 or 4?
Yeah, I was gonna say it was up there, right?
And he missed like 5 games, right?
Let me
he missed maybe 2 or 3.
Really? He missed 4 games. I think they put him on IR.
Yeah, we'd have to double check.
Yeah,
I'll check it right now.
But missing 4 games, huh? We can check that out. If he missed 4 games last year and ended up as the RB3, I put him top 5 as well. As barring any setbacks or injuries, I think he finishes. I'm not worried about Kyron.
Yeah, he was placed on IR in week 7 and returned week 12.
So I think that was including a bye week.
Including the bye. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
I mean,
he balled out. I'm not surprised, but
I think he's in the 7 to 5 range, or
I probably got probably 7 to 5.
Yeah.
Take that. Jonathan Taylor. So with Anthony Richardson kind of hopefully fully healthy this year and taking some of the run game away from him, I could see Jonathan Taylor being like 12 to 8 range.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think he's going outside of the top 10.
I see a world where that's possible.
Yeah.
He finished RB29, so he is low. And so for those listening to the episode, these guys that we're talking about how they finished, these are all potential 0 to heroes. These are guys you want to target in trades before they pop off.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra, terrible. You can make a case to someone, Jameson Williams taking all the touchdowns. Amon-Ra's not going to see that. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of feed that information to your opponents and say, look, let me get Amon-Ra. He's, I just need another wide receiver, whatever you want to say, right?
Yeah.
But these are guys that you potentially could trade for now and we're telling you that range where we think they end up finishing this year.
With JT, it depends. Like he needs to see like targets in the backfield. He saw none last game. So that needs to happen for his potential to be top 5 to 7 for me.
Yeah. I think he finishes 12 to 8. 8 would be top for me. I don't think he finishes above 8. 8 is even a little bit high in my opinion.
Okay. King Henry.
Derrick Henry. Barring any injuries, I think you trade for him now. I think that offense is going to be good. The Baltimore Ravens is going to be a good offense. He's going to, and we mentioned this in the previous episode that the Ravens, when they're winning, Derrick Henry does great. Not the Ravens per se, but when the team is winning, whatever team he's out there winning, then the game script, he performs. Yeah. When they're losing and they're down, not so much. So, I mean, he played well. He had the first touchdown of the game, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So they're going to use him. They brought him in to use him. So
yeah, I think I still have him in my top 10.
I have him in top 10 as well.
Yeah,
top 10 RB.
I think I might finish like top 7. I like him a lot.
Top 7, okay.
Yeah,
and they play. This week's
matchup. They play Raiders this week, bro. He's
you get him before he plays the Raiders.
Yeah,
get him right now while he's still. Just say, look, he's old, he's washed, blah blah. You could try to talk someone out of him. Yeah. I'm serious. I mean, some people don't watch the games or they just don't know football. I mean, you could just obviously don't fleece them, but you could trade for these guys now while they're.
If you could finesse a homie, bro.
You're talking to one of the best. We need to have a segment. This season we might do some segments for trading, just for BBTB because this guy's he's a fleecer. But
And that's it for the Zeros to Heroes segment. By the way, some news is we are opening a Discord, so if you want to join the Discord, we'll be talking fantasy news there. We can, post the news alerts. You can ask questions. It's pretty much just a community. We could all shoot the shit, talk about fantasy football in it.
Mm-hmm.
Join up. It'll be a lot of good homies, a lot of good info, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll post the link for that for you guys to join in, and then you guys can join in the Discord, and then, like I said, we can just talk about fantasy football. And if you guys have any questions for us, start sits, who do I start, who do I sit, just shoot them over to us, and we can let you guys know.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
But that'll do it for today's episode. You guys have anything else you want to bring up? Any other news?
No.
Anything else?
Sweet. In week 2.
Yeah. All right. It's a longer than usual episode, guys, but a lot of good information in there. And then we'll see you guys if we have another episode this week. We'll let you guys know. But I think we'll see you guys next week, recapping week 2, and we'll see who was right about the over and under on Cooper Kupp's targets.
Yeah, 13.5.
Yeah, over on that one.
100% over.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Deuce.